The next chapter is assessments, everyone. Please come to your assessments. Listen. See, assessments ka linking, you have to remember like this. We started learning GST with goods or service. Goods or service has to be supplied. Supply can be either interstate supply or intrastate. Interstate supply, what will happen, everyone? IGST will be levied. Intrastate, CGST will be levied. Once GST gets levied, GST has to be collected and paid by a taxable person. How will I collect? How will I pay? I will calculate GST, and GST is equal to value of supply into rate of tax. Once you know the value, you will prepare the tax invoice, credit note, debit note, and delivery challan. Very good. Then you will maintain your accounts and records, and you will send with the help of a e-way bill. Now your liability to pay will come. Liability comes at the time of supply. You will go ahead and use your ITC, remaining amount, payment. Once you make the payment, you will go ahead and file your return. Now listen, any stage may, any doubt if you have, you can go ahead, not any doubt, see advance rolling list. Then you can go ahead and ask that question to the advance rolling. This was your part. This was your part. Now the department ka part will start, where they will start assessment. And now we are starting the second part of GST, which is assessments, everyone. Listen. Assessments, from exam point of view, sir, what kind of a chapter it is? B graded. Might come, might not come. But if it comes, you will have a 4 to 6 mark question. Take everyone. At least 1 2 mark MCQ to 100% should come. If not 2 mark, 6 marks should come. Everyone over here now. Assessment. What do you mean by assessment? Assessment means finding out the liability. So assessment means determination of your tax liability. Assessment, we have section number 59, we have 60, 61, 62, 63 and section number 64. Everyone over here. The first is self-assessment. What is self-assessment, everyone? I should myself find out what is my liability, pay the liability to the government and file my return. So whatever is my output, whatever is my input, I have to set off, pay the balance to the government and file my return. That is known as what, everyone? Self-assessment. Every registered person shall mandatorily self-assess the tax payable and furnish what return under section number 39. That is known as self-assessment. Next, the next is provisional assessment. Sir, now people are talking. You had breakfast, so everyone is talking. Very good, very good. Talk, Baba. Now, next, not each other, with me. Okay? What is provisional assessment? One thing you have to remember. In custom, provisional assessment can be done by proper officer also. But in GST, provisional assessment cannot be done by GST officer suo moto. Only you have to go ahead and ask for it. Only then the provisional assessment will happen. Remember this point. Sir, whenever a taxable person is unable to determine value or rate of tax, listen, you have to find out GST. GST is equal to value into rate of. You are not able to determine value or you are not able to determine rate. Remember one thing, it means you can't determine your GST. Do one thing, go request the proper officer in ASMT 01. Before you ask, I will only tell. ASMT forms not required to be remembered. Take everyone, form numbers, if you remember, okay. If you don't remember, no problem. Now, you have to request the proper officer for provisional payment of tax. Sir, please allow me to make provisionally one payment of tax. Officer will go ahead and issue an order in ASMT 04 within how many days? 90 days, allowing payment on provisional basis as at such rate and value as specified. In the provisional order, he will say, sir, on this value, at this rate, you can pay the GST. But he will tell, provisional payment when you are doing, I want one bond with bank guarantee. Everyone over here, he will go ahead and ask you to execute what? Bond in what? ASMT 05, along with security in the form of bank guarantee, and security will be up to 25% of the bond amount. Now what will happen? See, provisionally you paid the tax. Now they will go ahead and do the final assessment. And when the final assessment order is coming, when will the final assessment order come? Within how much time? 6 months of the communication of provisional assessment ka order. The day provisional assessment ka order was given to you, from that day, within 6 months, they will pass the final assessment order. Sir, further, if they could not pass within 6 months, extension can be given of 6 months by the AC or JC, and then commissioner can further extend it by how many years, everyone? 4 years. Remember one thing, this is additional commissioner or joint commissioner who can give you how much time, everyone? More 6 months, and then further 4 years for finding, for doing the final assessment. Remember, now provisionally you had paid 5 lakh, final assessment came 6 lakh. So do you have to pay the differential? Yes. Remember, you have to pay the differential along with interest under the section number 50 at the rate of 18%, and that is from the day after the due date till the date of payment. That is day after the due date till the date of payment, you will have to pay the interest. It is day-wise calculation, Baba. It is day-wise calculation. Please remember, please do one question on this and go. Please do one question on finding out the interest calculation and go. That can come in the exam. If I'm not wrong, there's a question which is Kulbhushan. One question is there, which is a very famous question. If you don't have that question, any other question in your study material, whichever you are referring, do one question on this and go. Tell me one thing. Final assessment came 10 lakh. Provisional assessment was only 5 lakh. The differential 5 lakh you have to pay along with interest from the due date up till the date of payment. Sir, supposingly final assessment came only 4 lakh rupees, but provisionally I had paid 5 lakh rupees. 1 lakh rupees will be refunded. But refund ka calculation, you always have to remember, the day the final assessment order came, after that you have to give an application. From the date of application, if they give you the money within 60 days, no interest. If they don't give you within 60 days, then only you will be given interest at the rate of 6%. And for that, you have to file a GST RFD 01. Very, very important part. Please do one question and go. Everyone over here now. Sir, I have gone ahead and paid the differential amount. Then do one thing, find an application for release of your security. Everyone, you are given a security over here. Sir, my bank guarantee, please return. After you pay the differential, the bank guarantee will be returned. Proper officer will release the security after ensuring payment, and he will issue one order within 7 days of the receipt of application. What is the benefit of provisional assessment? The benefit of provisional assessment is because you paid the tax short, later you paid the amount, you don't have to go ahead and pay any penalty. Otherwise, short payment of tax pay penalty is there. But if it was because of provisional assessment, penalty will not come. Everyone over here, I am not able to determine. Very important, very, very important is provisional assessment from exam point of view. Baba, B graded chapter ka A graded question. Everyone here now. I was unable to find out value or rate of tax. Who? Remember, provisional assessment can be asked by taxable person. Sir, I was not able to find out value or rate of tax. Ask the officer for provisional assessment. He will give you the provisional assessment order. Once the provisional assessment order is given, within 6 months. Okay, provisional assessment order will be given within how many days? 90 days. After that, 6 months may final assessment order. If not within 6 months, further 6 months. If not further 6 months, 4 years. Once the final assessment order has come, if provisional assessment was less, final assessment means more, differential pay along with interest from the due date till the date of payment. Sir, if final assessment is less, provisional assessment was more, differential will be refunded to you along with interest. But here, remember, this interest calculation is how? The day the final assessment order came, from that day, you have to apply. Once you apply, within 60 days, they will give you the refund. If they give you within 60 days, no interest. After 60 days, whatever the difference is there, they will give you the interest. Everyone over here now. The next is scrutiny of return. You went ahead and filed your return. Officer was scrutinizing your return. He saw there is some problem in the return. He will go ahead and inform you that, sir, there is a problem in the return. Please pay the tax. If you pay the tax, then chapter is closed. But if you don't pay, then officer will get angry and he will take some recourses. Everyone over here. Scrutiny of return. Return furnished by the registered person. Proper officer may scrutinize. Is it Mandatory for the officer to scrutinize? No. He may scrutinize the return to verify the correctness. If he finds any discrepancy, he will issue you a notice. In GST N70, 10. It is 10. Within 30 days, either you have to accept the discrepancy, pay the tax, interest, and any other amount. Which form will you use for payment? DRC 03. Sir, I did not go ahead and pay, but I gave my explanation. Okay? You have to give your explanation using ASMT 11. Officer likes it. No problem, Baba. He will go ahead. Registered person shall be informed in ASMT 12 and no further action will be taken. But, sir, officer does not like my reply, or I told, okay, I accept. There is some differential payable, but I'm not paying. Then officer will get angry and he will take this recourses. You know what he will do? Proper officer will go ahead. If you fail to take the corrective measure, proper officer will initiate action, including audit, special audit, inspection, search, seizure. Proper officer will determine the tax and other dues under section number 73 and 74, means he will give you a demand order. Are we clear, everyone? What did we learn in scrutiny? I filed my return. Officer went ahead and scrutinized the return. He found no discrepancy, no problem. He found any discrepancy, he'll inform you. You pay the differential, chapter closed. You did not pay the differential, you gave explanation. He likes it, chapter closed. He does not like it, he will go ahead and take action against you, like audit, special audit, inspection, search, seizure, then demand order will be given. Now listen, your exam question. What are the recourses that can be taken by the officer when proper explanation is not furnished? This is your exam question. You can say proper officer can do audit, special audit, inspection, search, seizure, and then demand order. Listen, you did not give proper reply, right? Or you did not give a reply, or you did not pay the differential amount. You know what? Officer will first do the audit. He can also do the special audit. He can do inspection, search, seizure, find out additional evidences, not money, additional evidences. And now he will use the evidences and give you a love letter, demand order. Now listen, demand, either you pay within 3 months, you should pay. Okay? Or 3 months you should go for a appeal. Or if it is more than 3 months, more than 3 months, then recovery will start. Remember this. Now, these are all our next chapters. Audit, special audit, inspection, search, seizure, demand and recovery, and appeals and revision. These are our next chapters which are there. Can I go ahead, everyone? Now listen. The next one is best judgment assessment. Remember, non-filer of return is also very important from exam point of view. They can go ahead and ask a small question. Sir, what is non-filer of return? If you did not go ahead and file your return, first they will, registered person fail to furnish a return under section number 39, which is your GSTR 3B, your monthly return, or under section number 45, your final return. Then they will go ahead and send you a notice and tell you, sir, please file the return. Notice will come in GSTR 3A telling you to file the return within how many days? 15 days. If you go ahead and file the return, then Baba, now officer can do scrutiny because your return is there. But if you don't go ahead and file your return, proper officer will get angry and he shall go for best judgment. He will see your return is not there. How to do the assessment? He will apply his brain and he will go ahead and do the assessment. Proper officer shall go for best judgment assessment and he will issue the assessment order within 5 years from the due date of annual return. Everyone, this year related annual return, say how many days? 5 years. Within 5 years, he will pass the assessment order. But you know what? Sir, I got the assessment order. Oh no, run Baba, run. File your return. If you file your return within how many days, everyone? 60 days of the service of the assessment order, the assessment order will be deemed to be withdrawn. Can I go ahead, everyone? Next, but remember one thing. You filed your return. See, it says deemed withdrawal if registered person furnishes a valid return. Valid return means pay your tax. Valid return means a return in which you have paid your tax and you have filed your return. You paid your tax and you filed your return. Then Baba, they are telling the assessment order will be withdrawn. And now they are telling only by paying your tax and filing the return, the assessment order will be withdrawn. But liability for interest and late fee will continue. Everyone over here, remember one thing. If you fail to furnish a valid return within 60, sir, I failed to furnish my valid return, give me some more time. Yes, it says he may furnish the same within a further period of how many days? 60 days on payment of additional late fee of 100 rupees per day of delay. How much is the late fee, everyone? 100 rupees per day you have to pay as late fee. Then the officer will go ahead and allow you to file even after 60 days also. If you file, the best judgment assessment order will be withdrawn. Everyone over here now, see here. There's one standard operating procedure in case of non-filers of return. Sir, what is the standard operating procedure? How will the officer operate against these non-filers of return? How will they do the best judgment assessment? Government told, first of all, send them one system generated SMS 3 days prior to the due date. Prior to the due date, you will get one SMS. 3 days prior, ting ting. Go ahead and file your return. Go ahead and file your return. Now, post the due date, one system generated SMS also will come to, see, SMS will come to everyone. But then, email and SMS after the due date will come only to the non-filer. Now, post 5 days, after 5 days of the due date, they are telling one notice will be given to you to file the return within 15 days. If you file the return within 15 days, no problem. Now they can go for scrutiny. But if you don't file the return within how many days? 15 days, proper officer will proceed to best judgment assessment if return is not filed within 15 days, and he will pass the assessment order. Sir, when he is doing the best judgment, he is applying his brain. When he is doing the best judgment, he can use your GSTR 1 ka detail, because GSTR 3B you did not file. So he can use your GSTR 1 ka detail. He can use your GSTR 2A, 2B ka detail. He can use your e-way bill ka detail or such other information which is available. He can go ahead and use it. Best judgment assessment order will be withdrawn within how many days, everyone? 60. If you file a valid return, it will be withdrawn within how many days? 60. I changed over here, but I missed changing over here. So please change that, sir. If you file a valid return within how many days? 60 days, the best judgment assessment order will be withdrawn. And you can be given additional 60 days also. Can I go ahead, everyone? Next, sir, commissioner may also resort to provisional attachment. It means the time the best judgment assessment order is passed, they can also go ahead and do what, everyone? Provisional attachment. And because you are not filing your return, they can also go for cancellation. 6 months return not filed, registration can be cancelled. Everyone over here now, the next one is section number 63. Unregistered person. People, best judgment assessment of, see, one is non-filer who did not file the return. One is unregistered person who did not take registration only. How will he file his return? So that person who is an unregistered person. So you are a taxable person, means you are liable. You are liable to register, but you did not take registration. You failed to obtain registration, or your registration was cancelled under section number 29(2). Section number 29(2) may officer went ahead and cancelled your registration, but the person is still liable to pay the tax. Proper officer will issue a notice to you and tell you and state the ground for assessment. You have to reply within how many days? 15 days. If you reply, very good. If you don't reply, PO will proceed to assess the tax liability of such taxable person to the best of his judgment, but after giving you opportunity of being heard. Always remember, assessment order will be passed within how much time? 5 years from the due date of annual return. For this year, supposingly assessment order, then this year ka annual return, say 5 years may, they can go ahead and pass the assessment order. Remember, first they gave you 15 days ka time to reply. Then they gave you opportunity of being heard. So in this case, remember, there is no withdrawal. There is no withdrawal. Next, first they will give you show cause notice. People here, first they gave you show cause notice. Then they gave you opportunity of being heard. And then they pass the assessment order. Is my point clear to all? Everyone over here on the right hand side now, section number 64. Tell me one thing. We learned summary assessment. We learned provisional assessment. Then we learned scrutiny. Then best judgment. Best judgment of whom? Best judgment of non-filers of return and best judgment of unregistered person. Unregistered person is what, everyone? Who did not go ahead and take registration in spite of being liable. That person ko they will issue the order and say, sir, you did not take the registration, you have a liability to pay the tax, pay the tax. If you pay, no problem at all. Otherwise, they will go ahead and pass the assessment order. Within how much time, everyone? 5 years. Actually, they will tell you, sir, please take your registration, file your returns, pay all the taxes, etc. If you don't go ahead and follow what they are going ahead and telling, they will go ahead and pass the assessment order. Everyone over here now. Summary assessment. What is summary? Summary means, chart book is a summary. Summary means what? Shortcut. Small assessment. So for an example, on the way, one truck wala. So this summary assessment is generally done of transporters, owner, operator of warehouse, person in charge in case the taxable person cannot be traced. For an example, on the way one person was taking the goods and going. Okay? Officer stopped him and told, whose goods are these? You told, sir, what happened? He told, tax is not paid. Where is the invoice? I told, I don't have the invoice. I am the transporter. I told, I don't have the invoice. Officer told, who is the owner? You told, I don't know who is the owner. He will do your assessment only. Because if he allows you to go now, there will be a loss to the revenue. Officer came to your premises. You are a warehouse keeper. Officer asked, whose goods are this? You told, I don't know. He will do your assessment only. That is known as what, everyone? Summary assessment. Quick assessment. Everyone over here. Proper officer, on evidence that there is a tax liability plus prior permission of the additional or joint commissioner, he will go ahead and take, and he will assess the tax liability of such person. Which person, everyone? Transporter, owner, operator, warehouse, person in charge, in case taxable person is not traceable. Then, to protect the interest of the revenue. Why is he doing it? So that the revenue ka interest can be protected, because if summary assessment is not done, you will run away. Can I go ahead, everyone? And he will issue an assessment order if he has sufficient ground to believe that any delay in doing so may adversely affect the interest of the revenue. Sir, if I don't pass the assessment order now, the transporter will run away. Sir, if I don't pass this assessment order now, this warehouse keeper, he will send off the goods somewhere else. I have to go ahead and do the assessment now, and then he will go ahead and do the summary assessment. But summary assessment is done in rush, quickly, correct or not, everyone? So there can be some mistake, and hence they are going ahead and telling this order can be withdrawn if on application of a taxable person. Transporter came and told me, Ramesh, because of you, he did my assessment. Now what to do? I will go to the department. Sir, sorry, please withdraw the assessment order. You do my assessment. So in this case, on an application from the taxable person, within 30 days from the receipt of order, summary assessment order, or withdrawal can be by the AC or JC on his own motion if the AC or GC considers the order to be erroneous. Either you give an application or they themselves identified, oh no, this assessment order is wrong, then they can go ahead and withdraw. So sir, he can withdraw it. He can withdraw the assessment order, and you know what? He will tell the proper officer, hey, all this shortcut and all don't do. Go do the normal proceedings under section number 73 and 74. Give proper SOCOS notice, do the proper assessment. Are we clear, everyone? Now listen, what can be your exam question from this chapter? See, I've written above. Okay, one more thing. All the assessment orders which are passed, no? Summary should be uploaded online in GST DRC 07. GST DRC 07 में one summary of the assessment order should be uploaded. Sir, what are the orders that can be withdrawn? Number one, best judgment assessment order of non-filers. And secondly, summary assessment order. This can be one question in the exam. Everyone, from this chapter, I believe that this provisional assessment is very important. In provisional assessment, this calculation of interest is very, very important. Please do one question and go. Secondly, this can be one question. What are the recourses available? When one proper explanation is not given, they can ask you a short note on summary assessment, on best judgment of non-filer. Please be careful about it. They can ask you a short note. The next they can go ahead and ask is, what are the orders that can be withdrawn? Remember, Best judgment assessment order under section number 62 can be withdrawn, and summary assessment order under section number 64 can be withdrawn. These are the questions which I believe they can go ahead and ask in the exam. I'll do one thing. I'll close my revision on the chapter of assessments over here.